On the old frontier, a soldier or a scout knew the real enemy was not always the one with a weapon. The most dangerous foe was often invisible. It was the sun beating down. It was the dry air stealing moisture from your body with every breath. Dehydration could defeat an entire army faster than any battle. A person can survive for weeks without food. But without water, survival is measured in mere days, sometimes even hours. Your body is mostly water. Lose too much of it, and your mind gets confused. Your muscles cramp. Your organs start to shut down. A rifle is useless if you are too weak to lift it. A map is just paper if your vision is blurry and your head is pounding. History is filled with stories of armies crippled by thirst. Campaigns in deserts and arid plains were won or lost based on access to water. Patrols moving through the vast, dry landscapes of the American West or the African bush understood this truth intimately. They knew that a full canteen was more valuable than a full pouch of ammunition. Finding a reliable water source was the primary mission every single day. The landscape often looked deceivingly barren. It appeared bone-dry and lifeless. But hidden beneath the surface, a secret lifeline existed for those with the knowledge to access it. This was not about magic. It was about understanding nature. This critical need for water led to the development of ingenious survival techniques. These were skills passed down from seasoned veterans to new recruits, or learned from indigenous peoples who had mastered their environments over centuries. One of the most effective methods was a way to pull water directly from ground that seemed to have none. It was a simple trick, but it was pure genius. It used the power of the sun itself to create a small, life-saving spring where there was none before. This knowledge turned a desperate situation into a manageable one. It empowered a lone individual to create their own supply of pure, drinkable water. The principle is all about condensation. Even in the driest-looking soil, there is usually some moisture trapped below the surface. You can't see it or feel it, but it is there. The key is to draw that hidden moisture out and collect it. This age-old technique, what we now call a solar still, does exactly that. It creates a miniature greenhouse effect. It forces the ground to sweat out its water, which then turns into vapor. This vapor rises, hits a cooler surface, and condenses back into liquid droplets. These pure water droplets can then be collected, providing a small but steady supply of life-sustaining hydration in the most unforgiving of places. The solar condensation still is an elegant solution born from desperation and clever observation. It is not a complex machine. It is a simple setup that works with the natural cycles of the sun and the earth. The science behind it is straightforward. When the sun shines on the ground, it heats the soil. This heat causes the moisture trapped within the soil particles to evaporate, turning into water vapor. Normally, this vapor would just dissipate into the air. The solar still, however, is designed to trap this vapor. It creates a closed system where the moist air has nowhere to go. It is a brilliant way to harness a process that is happening all around us, all the time. The effectiveness of this method comes from its simplicity. You do not need fancy equipment. You do not need pumps or filters. All you need is a way to create a small enclosed space over a patch of ground. The sun provides the energy. The earth provides the raw material, the hidden moisture. As the water vapor rises inside your trap, it looks for a place to condense. It will naturally collect on the coolest surface it can find. By creating an artificial cool surface within your still, you give the vapor a target. The vapor turns back into liquid water droplets, clean and purified by the process of evaporation. Choosing the right location is the most important part of this entire process. You cannot just dig a hole anywhere and expect to get water. You must learn to read the land. Look for clues that indicate moisture is present just below the surface. Low-lying areas and depressions are good places to start, as water naturally settles there. The base of a hill or the bottom of a dry creek bed often holds moisture long after the surface has dried out. These spots act as natural collection points for any underground water. Ignoring these signs and digging in an exposed, high and dry spot will only waste your precious energy. Another excellent indicator is the presence of plant life. Green vegetation is a dead giveaway that there is water nearby. Plants need water to survive, so their roots are tapping into a subterranean source. Digging near the base of hardy, green plants, especially in an otherwise dry area, dramatically increases your chances of success. The soil around their root systems will be much damper than the surrounding ground. By observing your environment and making an intelligent choice, you are not just hoping for water. You are using proven signs to place your still where it has the highest probability of working effectively and providing you with the water you need to survive. Building a solar still requires very few materials, most of which you might already have in an emergency kit. You will need a sheet of clear or translucent plastic, a container to catch the water, a digging tool, heck, even a sharp stick or your hands will do, and a small stone or weight. That is it. The first step is to dig a hole in the ground in the location you carefully selected. The hole should be about 3 feet wide and at least a foot deep. The wider and deeper the hole, the more surface area you have to generate moisture, but do not exhaust yourself making it too big. Once your hole is dug, place your collection container right in the center at the bottom. This could be a cup, a can, a bottle cut in half, or even a wide leaf shaped into a bowl. This container is what will hold the clean water you collect. If you have some green vegetation, like leaves or non-poisonous plants, you can throw them into the hole around the container. As they heat up, they will release their own moisture, adding to the total water you will collect. This step can significantly increase the efficiency of your still, so it is worth doing if you have plants available. Now take your sheet of plastic and carefully cover the top of the hole. Anchor the edges of the plastic down with soil or rocks to create a tight seal all the way around. You want to trap all the evaporating moisture inside, so make sure there are no gaps where the vapor can escape. The seal needs to be as airtight as you can possibly make it. Once the plastic is secured, take your small stone or weight. Place it on the top of the plastic sheet, directly over the center of your collection container below. The weight will create a low point in the plastic. This final step is the most crucial part of the design. The weight creates an inverted cone shape in the plastic. As the sun heats the ground and plants inside the hole, water vapor will rise and hit the underside of the cool plastic sheet. It will condense into tiny water droplets. Because the plastic is angled downwards toward the center, gravity will cause these droplets to run down the inside of the plastic. They will all trickle down to the lowest point, the tip of the cone you made with the stone, and drip directly into your collection container. You have now built a machine that makes water. The solar still is not a new invention. Variations of this technique have been used for centuries by people living in arid regions around the world. From soldiers on long-range patrols in hostile territory to indigenous tribes in the Australian outback, the knowledge of how to pull water from the earth has been a fundamental survival skill. It represents a deep understanding of natural processes. It is a testament to human ingenuity. This method allowed individuals and small groups to travel through and survive in environments that would otherwise be deadly. It was a secret weapon in the fight for survival, passed down through generations. In the modern world, this historical technique remains just as relevant. It is a core skill taught in military survival training programs across the globe. Soldiers, pilots, and special forces operators are all trained on how to construct a solar still. They know that if they are ever stranded in a remote location, this knowledge could be the difference between life and death. But its use extends far beyond the military. Wilderness hikers, backpackers, and anyone who ventures into the backcountry can benefit from knowing how to create their own emergency water source. It provides a powerful sense of security, knowing you have a way to stay hydrated if your primary water supply is lost or runs out. The solar still also has important applications in urban and disaster response scenarios. Following a natural disaster like an earthquake or a hurricane, clean drinking water is often the most immediate and critical need. Municipal water systems can fail, and bottled water supplies can be slow to arrive. In such a crisis, a family could use this method in their own backyard to generate a small but vital supply of pure water. All it takes is a sheet of plastic from a hardware store and a bit of knowledge. It empowers people to take action and provide for themselves during the most chaotic of times. Ultimately, the lesson of the solar still goes beyond just a clever trick for finding water. It highlights a more profound truth about survival. Your greatest tool is not the gear on your back. It is the knowledge in your head. The ability to observe your environment, understand its patterns, and use simple principles to your advantage is far more valuable than any expensive piece of equipment. Technology can fail, but knowledge is weightless and unbreakable. Learning skills like this connects us to a long history of human resilience. It reminds us that with the right mindset and a bit of practical wisdom, we can face and overcome even the most challenging circumstances.